Julian was an artist known for his beautiful, yet haunting, paintings. People were astonished by how lifelike his portraits were. While his work was highly praised in the art world, Julian lived a lonely, reclusive life. His creative process was a mystery. He never used models, and the faces in his portraits were of unknown people. Catherine was a young, inquisitive journalist. She noticed a strange connection between Julian's art and a series of disappearances in the city. The face of a woman in one of Julian's recent paintings bore a striking resemblance to a girl who had vanished just a few weeks prior. Others dismissed it as a coincidence, but Catherine didn't believe it. She went to Julian's gallery, where every painting was a portrait of an unknown person. The eyes in the paintings were filled with sadness, fear, or hope, as if their lives had been frozen in time. Catherine decided to find Julian. She went to his studio, which was completely cut off from the outside world. Julian lived there alone. When he saw her, his face showed no emotion. He looked at her with cold eyes. "What are you doing here?" Julian asked. "I'd like to write about your paintings," Catherine said. "The people in your portraits look a lot like people who have disappeared. Is that a coincidence?" Julian's face changed. Fear appeared in his eyes. "I only paint people's memories," he said. "I don't know how they vanished." His voice was a whisper, as if to hide a deep sadness. Catherine didn't believe Julian's words, but seeing the fear in his eyes made her suspect there was a secret. She left his studio, but one painting stayed in her mind. It was a portrait of a young girl, and in the background was an old, dilapidated bridge. Catherine remembered seeing that bridge somewhere. It was located near the home of the last girl who had disappeared. Catherine immediately went to the location. She found the bridge. The thought that Julian's painting was a true depiction of the scene solidified in her mind. Julian knew something about the girl's disappearance. He wasn't just painting, he was somehow capturing memories. Catherine returned to Julian's studio. "How did you paint that bridge?" she asked. "You were never there." Julian's face turned pale. "I wasn't there," he said. "I just remember it." His words carried a profound sorrow. He then told her about his gift. "I see their memories," he said. "I see the last, most vivid memories of people who disappear. I paint their portraits because I don't want them to be forgotten. I feel their emotions, their fears, their sorrow." Julian held a painting of a weeping woman. "When I was painting this," he said, "I felt her fear. She was afraid of something." Catherine was skeptical, but she decided to stay with Julian. She began to research his strange life. As she looked at Julian's paintings, she began to experience strange sensations herself. She heard the voices of the vanished, felt their emotions. These memories started to merge with her own, and she began to lose her sense of self. She realized what Julian truly was. He was not a killer, but a victim. He was a vessel for some terrifying force. This force fed on people's memories and made them vanish. Julian's paintings were the only proof of the victim's existence. Julian and Catherine decided to work together to find the source of this terrifying force. They studied the details in the paintings and realized that the force was hidden in one specific place, an old, abandoned building in the heart of the city. Julian and Catherine went to the building. It was old, damp, and dark. The inside was filled with a terrifying energy. There were whispers of the vanished, their voices trying to corrupt their minds and drive them mad. In the center of the building, they saw something strange. It was just a stone, but it glowed. This stone contained the memories of all the people who had disappeared, and around it was a black entity. This entity had no face. It was made of pure darkness. It was a memory parasite. It fed on human fear. Julian's words were true. His paintings attracted this parasite. He had forced the parasite into his mind to take its memories. But now, the parasite was ready to fight them both. Julian and Catherine fought the parasite. It was not a physical battle, but a mental one. The parasite used their greatest fears and fondest memories against them. Julian fought with his loneliness and sorrow. Catherine fought with the mistakes of her past. Julian realized there was only one way to destroy this parasite. He had to give all his memories, all his paintings, to the parasite. This would likely erase his mind completely, but he knew there was no other way. Julian opened his mind. The parasite entered. It stole Julian's entire life, all his memories. But Julian had planted his paintings inside the parasite's mind, creating a labyrinth of memories. This labyrinth destroyed the parasite. Catherine came to. The parasite was gone. Julian was lying next to her. His face was peaceful, but his eyes were empty. All his memories were gone. He was no one. Catherine became the sole witness to these secrets. She looked at Julian's paintings again. They were no longer sad but empty. The souls within them had vanished. Catherine decided to write about these events. She wanted to tell this story to the world. But as she wrote, Julian's memories, his sorrow, and his loneliness also remained in her mind. She lived alone, but her mind was filled with thousands of memories and thousands of voices. She was the only witness to the silent painter. Her life had become a terrifying and mysterious story. She tried to forget, but her mind wouldn't let her.